Hi, this is Maheen. I'm the founder CEO of Maheen the Globe, a Seattle-based independent media company. We cover stories globally, and that's Tessa. She can do a quick introduction.
Hi, my name is Tessa Hoyos, and I'm a writer and editor here at Maheen the Globe, and I cover many beats, some of which being music, fashion, space, wellness, tech, and business.
And before I do an introduction of our panelists today and get into that, I just want to say that it's 9/11 today, and that day affected all of us in many ways. And it's a sombering day too, because we lost a lot of lives. So we would like to do a 30-second silence just to give some prayer and ode to the victims. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for observing that. So today we have for you Bayaan. Bayaan is a mellow rock, alternative rock band, the winner of Pepsi Battle of the Bands Season 3. I had the honor and privilege of meeting these guys in Lahore. It was a very memorable time because I was fangirling at the time as well. We heard a lot of their songs, especially from their new album, Sano. So we'll have Tessa share what she thought about them and me too. They're a 5-member band. And when I take their names, please wave so people know who you are, especially our American audience. Asfar Hussain, vocalist. Heather Abbas, bassist. Shahrukh Aslam, guitarist. Makid Shahzad, guitarist. Mansoor Lashari, drummer. What really was memorable about these guys is when they talked about, how their songs are very lyrically driven and their writing comes from a really sincere place. When I listen to their songs, especially the ones that really stuck out for me in these past few months have been Panyor Mitti, Daira, Teri Tasveer, Mera Musafir, and Aaj Bazaar Mein. I love how you guys take your time with every song and you can hear every instrument, every note of the vocals. It's beautiful. It's like going to the spa and listening to some really relaxing music, when you want to do a de-stress. And I like the message behind your songs too. When I met you guys, you said that, you don't fall into a particular genre. You're very fluid, and that may have changed because, we are talking to you after 6 months. And I like that you cover basic problems that happen in society, So let's start with the questions. And I can ask Shahrukh first because we know him so well now with this global music collab that we've been doing for such a long time. So Shahrukh, tell us what Bayaan means for our American audience. What does that word mean? And what was the thought process behind the name Bayaan for the band?
Well, the word Bayaan pretty much means an expression or to express oneself. And why Bayaan? Because why not? It's, I think, a perfect or an apt word for a band. I mean, we're actually surprised nobody else saw it before us. So, haha, users.
All right, cool. So what I can do is that have each of you talk about your musical backgrounds and then how that led to Bayaan, if that's cool. So Asfar, we can start with you first.
Sure. Okay, so I was born and brought up in the northern parts of Pakistan as a small village called a valley called Chitral. And in my childhood, I was exposed to a lot of Bollywood music. So I listened to a lot of Bollywood songs back then. And that was my start. And then later on, I heard Pakistani pop in 2003 and 4. I got introduced to that. And then, but from that, I started listening to a lot of ghazals, and then slowly and gradually started moving towards classical. So it was a journey until I came to Lahore in 2010. I was not exposed towards the Western music. Like the one person I knew was Michael Jackson, and that was the only guy I knew from who sang in his song. Okay, so I wasn't exposed at all. Then I came here, and then I met these guys in the basement, and these guys had their own, background and choices in music, and they liked different kinds of genres. So they actually, we all got together and got along really well, and they played their music to me, and then I started listening to jazz and rock and all of these genres gradually. So that is how that's probably why my songs also, like the things I compose, they have the elements from all of these genres, from different genres, and the styles of music. So yes.
Awesome, Mansoor.
um, for me, music started when I was a kid, and my elder sister bought me my first drum kit. And so I started messing around with it, and I had friends back in school, and we would play. At that time, we used to listen to a lot of punk rock and Green Day, and after a lot of jamming, eventually, the whole music journey for me kind of shifted on to, I would say, more mature music. I used to stuff like, let's say, Opeth or Dream Theater, and eventually.
You all know this is one band coming in school by one mention.
You all have our past. So by the time around college, this happened. That's really great because since before then, jamming was in a very small bubble, and so there was limited learning apart from what you can practice on your own. In Nesquik basement, what was really groundbreaking for me was there's so many different kinds of instruments like tabla or violin and great vocalists and guitarists and bassists, and so the learning was exponential. And then from then on, Bayaan happened in this history.
Awesome, awesome. Shahrukh.
I think all children with loving parents are stuck in a cycle where they want their parents' approval, but they also want to piss their parents off. So I grew up in a house in which, everyone in my family listens to a lot of music and loves a lot of music. So I kept looking for that one sort of thing that annoys my dad, and then I found thrash metal, and it turns out that annoys my dad. So I listened to a lot of really, really heavy music, and I still pretty much do. That's pretty much it. And then I ran into these guys, and I still listen to a lot of heavy music, and yeah, that's it.
I just wanted to add, I find it funny and ironic at the same time that Bayaan Sound is like diagrammatically opposed to what Shahrukh really is. He's like such a metal guy. So it's really interesting. It shows your diversity, but also it's like crazy, right? All right, Mukeet.
So I picked up the guitar during, I think, grade 8 or 9, but never played it before I got to A levels where I met this beautiful person. So in A levels, we formed a band in high school. We formed a band, went to a lot of competitions, won some, lost some, and then we got into this underground metal circuit. So Charo was not the only one who has that very heavy, diverse. We all have, apart from us, I think all of us listen to progressive metal, thrash metal, heavy fast punk metal. So me and Heather were playing in a band, and we met Mansoor in one of
What was it called?
I cannot know. Let's not go there. And I actually met Mansoor in one of the underground circuit gigs, and we jammed along. And from there, I got to know Heather, Mansoor, and then when I went to university, I got to Shahrukh over there. I'm the only band member who's not from Nescafe Basement. Rest of all, Asfar and the guys all met there. And I just, sort of, for the lack of a better word, fixed it. And, with the jam, the chillings. And from there, I don't know how the band actually formed. I actually don't. It was so organic that I don't remember how it actually came into being. I think that's the story from my end.
Got it. And before we go to Heather, I just want to say I have a lot of gratitude for Mukeet because he's the one who connected me to Bayaan, and I got to know all these cool guys.
So it's your fault.
All right, Heather.
Yeah, so back in the days, I was a lot into Pakistani music. I listened to Zaloon a lot. And the first instrument I actually played was the keyboard. My parents bought me a keyboard when on my 7th birthday. Then I used to listen to a lot of Pakistani music, Hindi at that time. And then I gradually transformed into someone who listened to progressive metal and Dream Theater, just like Mansoor mentioned. And then me and Mukeet were part of college band. I can't mention the name. We actually performed at various venues, which were schools mainly. and we were also part of various competitions, and we also won a lot of competitions.
And I think Zulfi picked you and Muthu
Yes.
for one of the competitions.
So then next replacement happened. I met these guys. I was with Shahrukh and Mukeet in university as well. We played gigs in college as well. So then after that, Bayaan was formed. Yeah.
All right.
You
So
have
now,
to decide very awkward for us telling these stories. Just in case it comes out very stupid at the end.
all right. So Tessa has a couple of things she wants to.
Just remember
What's
one
that?
more thing, guys. This is my first band, and it's probably going to be my last band as well.
Oh, it's so awesome.
It's produced on Telegram.
I love that bond you guys have. It's very, very strong and familial like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
As you can see, we're social.
I think it's otherwise very hard to survive in a band if you don't have good, strong bonds.
Yeah.
Friendship. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Or you have to
So-
pay 20 times what we earned from this.
Yeah, that.
Awesome. All right. So Tessa had heard a few of your songs and she wanted to share the ones that really stuck out for her and why. So Tessa, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely Tere Tasvir. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. It really stuck out. Thank you. It really stuck out for me because, I just love how it started all slow and melodic, and then all of a sudden these upbeat drums are introduced, and that's kind of my taste. And like, oh, I like that drum pattern going on. And then I just love how it cuts to more melodic guitar, and I just thought that was a really cool switch. And Asfar, your vocals are beautiful, so they add a lot of value to the song as well.
All right. So Tessa has a few questions for you guys as well.
Yeah, so Heather, can you describe for me the production process of your last album?
The last album. So we had been working on the songs for a couple of years actually. So there were some songs like Bayaan Sound, that we recorded earlier with another producer. So during the last stretch of the album, when the album was releasing, we set a very strict timeline so that we could actually release it. Otherwise, we would have just tried it. So there was this event called Lahore Music Week. We planned to launch the album on that event. So the last couple of months were actually pretty hectic for the production process, and we recorded majority of the album in the last 2 months actually.
So we can say that it was a very, very long, drawn-out chair process, but also very, very hectic.
The last one, yeah.
Recorded sporadically
Yeah.
over like a 1 year
I
period.
think the main lesson is that deadlines are important.
So I want to ask about this pandemic, right? And how it's affecting you as a band. I know like with all this, no more concerts are happening. People are not jamming together and all of that. I do see all of you guys sitting together, but that's okay. I'm hoping you guys did a quarantine of sorts. But how has it affected the Bayaan's music production and where you guys are with the album and all of that?
Well, the big Corona lockdown started like very, very soon after we released the album. So we had a whole bunch of launch events and whatever planned, and all of that went into the gutter. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. It was a pretty huge sort of blow because it was something that we've been working towards for a while. We're really excited about it. This was supposed to be the year for us, but just like this was supposed to be the year for many people in many different ways, it turned out not to be that year. For safety's sake, we all pretty much went into quarantine. I met these guys in person after more than half a year, like a month ago maybe.
Wow.
Asper moved back to Jadral for most of the year. He came back to Lahore like a few weeks ago. We've been trying to work and record stuff remotely. We put out a few sort of quarantine session songs as well. But how has this year affected Bayaan? It's affected us quite a bit, quite drastically. Not all of it is positive, but the positive bits are that we all doubled down and wanted to improve our capacity to record demos and record music by ourselves. So that's a capacity that we've developed. But we're at enough that I can call myself a semi-producer now, as can pretty much everyone
I'm
on
a
this.
beginner at storytelling.
So I think that pretty much covers
Got
that.
it.
And right now we're social distancing. Usually we sit much closer to each other.
All right. So when I was reading up, I was doing my research for Bayan, and I met you guys too. Everywhere it says it's the alternative rock, progressive rock. I was like, no, they're mellow rock, and they're, I think, very lyrically driven. So how would you define Bayan sound? Any one of you can take this on.
Well, I think we like this is a tough question. It's a very tough question. To be honest, we don't have like okay, we don't know what genre we fall in. Okay, so what I think is, and what we all believe in, is that when we're making a song, we're not looking forward to giving it a certain kind of an end or intro or beginning or a section that would define it to be in a particular genre. So what we do is that we start a song and we just go with the flow and we just keep changing the song till it just forms into some kind of a thing that we feel that we wanted to keep in it is not going away.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Basically, we do what we feel is right.
All
I think
right.
the question of what genre is Bayan is a question that is, everyone else on planet Earth can answer that question. We don't care anymore.
Right. All right, so this is a follow-up question. So when I met you guys in Lahore, you guys said that your Urdu songs will have English subtitles so your American audience or global audience can understand them. We still haven't seen any of the videos with English subtitles.
There is one.
Got one. We didn't.
We have to fix it.
Yes. We got two.
Don't watch the narrative.
Okay. And the reason that I say that is because Tessa doesn't understand Urdu. So she's definitely good at picking the guitars bits and enjoying Aspar's vocals and all of that, but she doesn't understand them. So I can do it, but I think it would be cool if you guys would translate. That would be nice.
We are on it.
You're on it, all right.
It's a work in progress, just like the 17 other guitar tutorial videos that are currently works in progress.
All right, cool. Well, we're pretty much wrapping up now. I just wanted to ask about any of the latest projects that you guys want to talk about, anything that's getting you all excited in the coming months and all of that.
We've decided to produce and release 4 other albums before December. And 3 greatest hits compilations.
Well, to be honest, after such a, for the first time we've been apart for so long. The thing is, since we've had a lot of alone time, I think so for now we're jamming and we're seeing where it goes, but we don't want to make more content. We want to
We have commitment issues is what he's trying to say.
What he's trying to say is that for now we're just enjoying our time together.
All right, cool. All right, okay, this last question is a little sensitive, but I want to know what you guys are thinking about this. So when I met you guys, you guys give me this really, it was a really inspiring story, Tessa, of how they were in Pepsi Battle the Bands and how they got into the danger zone and then got out of it, and the life lessons that they learned from it was really never give up and not to be overconfident. Those were 2 things that one of these guys had told me. But also it's about mental strength, right? And I feel like for musicians, because they're artists, they're very sensitive people, and pandemic can be isolating for many. And it could also be like a renaissance period of where people get more creative and do a lot of introspection and write more or create more music. But lots of us are mentally struggling too as artists and musicians. So would you guys like to share, I wouldn't say a personal journey, but talk about it. Like how can we normalize conversations around mental health? And some of the musicians do commit suicide and it's suicide month. Suicide Prevention Month in September is Suicide Prevention Month. So how can we normalize conversations around mental health and talk about it and fix this problem, or at least, I don't know, not prevent it, but decrease it?
I don't know how to normalize the conversation because Pakistan is such a, in cultural terms, are very, very closed off to the idea of mental health being something that should be talked about. So I mean, I don't think I can give an answer to how we can change that. But if we're talking about what to do for people that you think might be at risk, is just be there for them. And if you are somebody struggling, I have terrible news for you. If you kill yourself, you are hurting all the people that you claim to love. So don't do it for yourself, do it for everyone else. As in, don't do it for everyone else. I mean, you get what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. All right, cool. Well, Bayaan, thank you so much. You guys
Thank you.
really
Thank you
great.
very
And
much.
this has been an honor to have you guys on. And we're looking forward to a lot of fun work with one of the members. And others too, of course. But thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you.
All
Have
right,
a
bye,
great weekend,
guys.
guys. Thanks so much.
Bye, Jessa.
Bye-bye.